There's a game making the rounds at the moment that inspires a spin on the competitive shooter. Rather than two teams fighting over an objective, it invites 3 or 4 teams of 3 players to fight for the same end goal. Grab the cash and cash it out. Of course, I am talking about the finals. First things first, what is the finals? I'll definitely revisit this in more detail with thoughts on the game, but to get things moving, I'll give you the short version. The finals is a competitive FPS developed by Embark Studios where several teams of 3 compete for an objective, usually revolving around opening vaults of cash and banking them at a cash out station to score. Teams can also steal cash out stations while they're being banked to add a layer of chaos to the game. In addition to quick play sessions, there's also a tournament-style game mode with brackets to make things a bit more interesting. On top of that, the players are able to play as 3 main archetypes, light, medium, and heavy, all of which have their own play styles, weapons, and utility. All of this is encompassed in a game show aesthetic, complete with announcers commentating over the action. This brings us back around to why this game is making the rounds online. Sure, the game is genuinely fun, and also developed by previous Battlefield devs, which you could probably tell by the level of destruction you're seeing on screen so far. However, the problem isn't with the gameplay or the level design, it's actually the voices. These voices you're hearing in-game are primarily AI generated, and this could become a problem for those that are building their skills in voice acting. I initially caught wind of this from a tweet from voice actor Gianni Montegrano, calling out the use of AI to generate these voice lines. Going over his tweets, I also saw that this just isn't hearsay. The information came straight from the developers themselves in a podcast they run to go over production details of the game. Here's an excerpt from the episode in question.
Rat Mouse asks, who did the voiceovers? And adds, they sound really authentic.
So here's the kicker. What did the voiceovers? So the thing is we use AI with a few exceptions. So all the contestant voices like the barks and both our commentators are AI text-to-speech. For things we call vocalizations like player breathing, vaulting, jumping, that's something we use us in the studio to record, like just grunting. We can't really get the AI to perform those kind of tasks yet. And since it's only exertive sounds, they will mix pretty well with all the AI text-to-speech voices. And the reason that we go this route is that AI text-to-speech is finally extremely powerful. It gets us far enough in terms of quality and allows us to be extremely reactive to new ideas and keeping things really, really fresh. So, for instance, if a game designer comes up with a new idea for a game mode, we can have voiceover representing that in just a matter of hours instead of months. We don't have to do temp recordings that needs replacing. And it's just, I think it's, we're really coming into like a new dawn when it comes to video game voices. And if it sounds a bit off, it still blends kind of well with the fantasy of the virtual game show aesthetically.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a shame since I genuinely enjoy voiceover work, so hearing of this initially was absolutely disheartening. Personally, I find the use of AI to replace someone who could use the work, like voice actors, to be a massive bummer. So many individuals have built a career in voice acting, folks like David Hayter, Troy Baker, Laura Bailey, and Tara Strong, just to name a few. We could have our next generation of greats coming soon, and each and every project that they work on is experience that they have under their belt and a credit to their name. However, it seems the growing adoption of AI is helping dampen that prospect. I'm not the only one that shares this sentiment though. Plenty of individuals online echo the same distaste for the use of AI in voiceover as well as generally in video games. However, we're just a few of the voices speaking out against this practice. Where I think this will become a bigger deal is with the actors themselves.
Making sure that a writer who writes for a late night show on streaming has the same protections and work guarantees as a writer who does the same work on TV. That's what matters to writers.
As you may have seen, there was a massive strike in Hollywood recently that started with the Writers Guild of America that eventually included the actors union, sag-aftra, which includes voice actors. This strike went on for most of the summer into September until the big production companies decided to engage in negotiations. This is where things start to involve the gaming industry. In late September, SAG-AFTRA voted to strike against the video game industry, a direct follow-up to the strike that just occurred. As for the reasons the union voted to go on this strike, they include compensation undercut by inflation, safety, and unregulated use of AI. While this may not affect the overall production of games in the long term, it will definitely have an impact on the voice actors and possibly even result in recasts. We've actually already seen this kind of thing with a different strike that SAG-AFTRA went on in 2016 and 2017. Ashley Birch, who provided the voice for Don't Nod's Life is Strange as the character Chloe, as well as being a member of SAG-AFTRA, was unable to reprise her role for the series prequel Before the Storm as a result of the strike. She was, however, able to be involved with the project as a consultant for the character. While Birch was able to remain involved in some fashion with the project she was originally part of, the same is uncertain moving forward for the impending SAG-AFTRA strike on the video game industry. The use of AI in video games to replace actors is a threat to the livelihood of those that worked hard to make a career in an extremely competitive market, and embracing that seems like it would be a proverbial slap in the face to those people. Should SAG-AFTRA go on strike against the gaming industry, this could spell disaster for ongoing projects and the actors that would reprise a role for them. In the grand scheme of things, it usually comes down to money. As you're probably already aware, the gaming industry, especially in the AAA space, have been introducing more and more microtransactions in an effort to make more money for the company. Depending on where you stand and how each studio and publisher is monetizing the game, this can be a big deal or not a big deal at all. However, since these gaming companies are trying to maximize profits while minimizing spending, this could be a core reason why some studios, like Embark, are turning to AI rather than hiring voice talent. So what's next, now that we know all of this information? I feel like the only thing that we'll be able to do as consumers is to voice our opinion online. I have to stress this though. If you're willing to bring attention to the situation, please do so respectfully and with tact. There's nothing wrong with sharing your thoughts online, but more and more recent calls to action have resulted in overzealous individuals escalating their rhetoric to a point that it becomes distasteful. So again, please share your thoughts in a respectful and civilized manner. With all of that said, it seems the ball is in Embark's court now. Will they keep the AI voices, or will they opt for utilizing actual voice talent? That remains to be seen, but hopefully they choose the latter, as I would love to support the finals, but knowing they use AI in lieu of voice actors is a point against it. While the game is great and I genuinely enjoy it, it's hard to support this game as a result of the recent revelations. Time will tell what will happen next, and I just hope Embark acknowledges this soon. And that's about all I had for this one. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to hit those like and subscribe buttons as I'm trying to grow the channel, and all the help I can get will be greatly appreciated. Have you been trying out the Finals Open Beta recently? And do you feel the use of AI in video games is something we should steer away from? Let me know in the comments down below and we'll have a conversation. With that being said, stay hydrated, I hope you have a good one, and I'll catch you next time.